Oh, and we are off. Dad accidentally going out of the title screen, so hopefully it doesn't screw him too much.
Okay, Supreme going for, or they both went for the damage swap. But it looked like Supreme actually missed it.
Ooh,
So it's a little bit of a time loss there.
Slow roll on that double extendo too for Supreme.
You want to throw the barrel as late as possible so that the barrel hits the Kremlin, and at the same time Donkey gets hit by the naughty. So he was a little bit early there, so a few seconds lost.
Nice double extendo coming out from Dad. He got the damage swap quite well.
Meanwhile, we're going on to 1-2 here. Interesting thing to know, we're actually going to take the bonus in this level. You can see it's going to shoot Dad and Supreme out quite far, quite fast. One of the few bonuses in the game that we actually take during an all stages run. So the thing about this category, we just have to play every level. We don't actually need any of the bonuses unless they're faster. So
you're going to have one more instance of that later on in the run.
Unless they go for the snake. They won't go for the snake.
Only legendaries will go for the snake.
So this is actually, I would say, my favorite level in World 1, Reptile Rumble. A lot of challenging tech in here. I noticed both players did not go for the zip through the crawl space. Interesting thing to note about crawl spaces is that if you're over halfway through them and you press Y to roll, you'll actually get zipped to the end of the crawl space area. So it's a little minor optimization there. The risky part, though, is if you're before halfway of the crawl space, you'll zip back to the beginning. So that's why it's a little bit tricky. You gotta time your movement and your jumps into the crawl space properly to make that trick work.
I find the extendo too, after that first zip, it can be quite difficult with the timing, but it looks like both of them got them quite well. Such a small platform to get that extendo off the two snakes.
Yeah.
Nice reach around from both players with the fish.
They also both got the fish blast off, if you will, coming off of when you break open the crate and you mount on guard. If you hold B and up, you'll rise way faster than if you just naturally mount him. So
yeah, I'm not sure how that works exactly.
Oh, interesting. Supreme going under. I don't think I've seen people. Usually people just go up on top for that ending in Coral Capers.
I wonder if that's fast or by not hitting the ceiling at first. Because he looked like he just went straight forward and then just up once at the end.
I think it would be the same time as long as there was no unfortunate bonks. Because hitting the ceiling doesn't kill your momentum, I'm pretty sure.
Good point. Nice extendo coming from Dad.
Yes, you're going to hear us talking a lot about extendos. That's one of the biggest tricks in this game. Just think of it as repressing Y to make your roll go longer. There's some little bit more technical aspects behind it, but it's how they press Y when they're rolling through an enemy to make it work, and it helps us cross gaps that we normally couldn't cross. So as an example, in that previous stage, Barrel Cannon Canyon, there's a 4 Kremlin block that if you just hold Y throughout the whole thing, you only make it through the first 3. But by strategically repressing Y at certain points, you can make it all the way to the 4th one.
Looks like we're about a 3-second difference. We had a 349 drop of Dad and a 352 drop from Supreme. So very close race so far.
Yeah, we don't expect to see too much separation until maybe either Bouncy if something catastrophic happens or Force Frenzy if something catastrophic happens. So keep your eyes out for those 2 stages.
Ooh, Dad rolling through the barrel. Both players rolling through the barrel.
That's what I like to see. I applaud the use of scary strats right there. You can
jumping
definitely...
that barrel is a huge time loss. There's a pit like far from when you get into the cart, so like you can't even like restart the level quickly.
Now we're off to Bouncy Bonanza. Definitely the toughest level in World 2.
Yeah, a halfway barrel is unreachable since we do not grab the tire since it's slow. So one mistake is very much a big time loss.
We'll see if anyone goes for B skip. Oh, looks like Supreme is going for B skip, whereas Dad was just using the crawl spaces. Again, another thing about crawl space, you'll notice that on Supreme's side, he was crouch jumping through the crawl space. Crouch jumping helps keep your momentum. It's way faster than just crawling through the crawl space. So that helped Supreme kind of slightly pull ahead here by just a few seconds.
Nice bouncing from both players regardless.
Oh, for sure. As long as you don't die, that's the key. Because that is a stage where bad things can happen.
I'm so glad neither of them went for spooky jump. Skipping that tire is very scary. All right, good stop and go from both.
Yeah. There's a weird thing in both stop and go and in any of the naughty wheel levels, such as Millstone or Temple Tempest. You can actually roll through the naughty wheels or the rock cracks without taking any damage. And here we're in Millstone, where actually they both get the super jump. We'll see this a few more. Well, let's see. We'll see at least in Forest Frenzy. And see if they go for any other super jump rolls or SJRs. Maybe we'll talk probably more about the tech there when we get to Forest, because I kind of missed my opportunity. So this boss is one of the few that has RNG, or one of the few things in this game that is RNG, where the Neki are going to spawn. And you want as many low spawns as possible. It's way easier to optimize hitting Neki on the head when he's low. Because when he's high, you can more easily take damage when you try to jump up there as Donkey. You'll notice that we're actually rarely as Donkey in this game. Even though it's his game, he's actually slower movement-wise than Diddy. So this is the one rare instance where we want to be Donkey, because he's the only one who can see that developer warp to get to the end of this level.
Yeah, and you saw also use Donkey for Millstone as well. Same thing. The warp barrel only appears for Donkey.
Oh, I thought that was just so that you get quicker fanfare in Neki 1 and to set up the Kong order for 3-1.
No, you can't enter that barrel with Diddy. It doesn't show up.
Okay. Well, that's very unfortunate. I saw Dad get into the warp, and then I don't know what he did on the other side that he missed the roll across. That's a little unfortunate. Probably 15 seconds right there. Meanwhile, Supreme actually does get the super jump. Does not go for the. Didn't look like he was going for the SJR. But we can kind of talk about it on Dad's side, since he's going for right now. So you're gonna see he's gonna take damage on purpose right here, and Diddy's gonna go flying up off the screen. So Diddy has a super jump state stored now. So he's Donkey currently, but he's going to damage on purpose to get back to Diddy, and then land on top of that Kremlin, and boom, he is just flying through the rest of this stage.
So with super jumps or super jump rolls, you got to know when to let go, because as long as you're holding B, you're going to be ascending. The moment you let go of B, you're falling. Temple Tempest has two really cool extendos right at the beginning of the stage. The second one skips the first rope. Very nicely done.
Yep, Supreme got both of them. Quite nice. That'll be Dad's turn. He nails the first one.
Ooh, Supreme accidentally dropping down from the double extendo. Applaud to him for actually trying to go for it, though. Didn't look like he jumped out until he noticed Diddy hit the wall.
Ooh, okay, so Dad did get the good extendo, but decided to opt out of the full continuation, jumping at the tire. Which, you know, in a tournament setting, a race setting, it makes sense to play a little bit safe. Because if you don't recover from that properly, you die.
So Supreme got first try map warp. So map warp, we use this because in the corners of World 1, you have one frame to, if you have either one Kong or if you are in the Funky's ship because you're one sprite, it thinks that you're in a level, so it tries to send you somewhere. And most of them lead you to O-Gang, other than the first corner, which leads you to Ropey. So we use this to skip basically like 3/4 of the stage, get right to the end of O-Gang.
Unfortunately for Dad, he got 6th try, if I counted that correctly.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
Supreme got first. That's a big difference. What is that, like 8 or 9 seconds? Just from map warp?
Is
it that much? Maybe
I'm not
it's only
quite
like 6
sure.
or 7.
I think it's less than that, actually.
Okay.
Because I think third try DNA was saying is only a 1.5 time loss.
Okay, so it's not as bad as I initially thought. You definitely, the even number attempts are better than the odd number attempts after the first try. Because if you go 3rd try, 5th try, 7th try, etc., you have to go all the way back up to Cranky, which is 2 movements on the overworld, as opposed to 1 movement on the even number attempts.
So Supreme got a quick hit on the B, so you can actually reach the B with Diddy at the very beginning with a precise throw. See, Dad will go for it now.
Very
He
nice.
also gets it. Nice B5 from Supreme. So we got 11:42 draw.
Yep, 11:42. We'll see where Dad is, just how far behind he is. Hopefully not too bad. Still anyone's race. Plenty of frames and hard levels still to come.
Speaking of hard levels, World 4 is very difficult, deceptively difficult.
I think it's about where people say the game is really starting, especially once you get to Torchlight. That's where all the level difficulties really ramp up.
So a 28 second difference?
Okay. It's unfortunate, but it's surmountable. There could definitely be a lead change still.
Absolutely. We haven't even started the big frames yet, which we'll talk more when we get there.
Nice little extendo by Supreme to get through those 3 neckies straight into the auto barrel.
Oh, I thought Zad had zero roll for a minute there. Ooh, nice barrel boost from Dad.
Yeah, so you'll see that we purposely pick up the tin cans in this level, or the tin can in this level, and when you're on a slope with that and you jump, you get super boosted, known as the barrel boost, and really lets us get through that section quite nicely. Pretty free tech, to be honest, so if you want to try that out at home, you'll go right ahead.
So slip side, you see Supreme, he kind of went above the ceiling to get into the barrel. Normally you're supposed to switch to Donkey to jump into the barrel, but you can actually go out of bounds, and there's like a platform above the ceiling, and you can roll from there right into the barrel. Saves swapping Kongs. Also looks kind of cool.
Ooh, see, Dad goes for the out of bounds, but the one risky part is if you mess it up, it's very easy to fall down to the platform with the bonus and go right on in. Very hard to avoid that, and so we'll see how he recovers that. He is going to go swap to Donkey and go straight in. Probably the good call.
Unfortunately, also gets a good first letter, so wasn't that bonus for quite a while. Nice bird section coming from Supreme. Supreme having a decent run, no major mistakes yet. Sub 1420 croc entrance is definitely good. So croc chase, about as long as K Rule, about 2.5 minutes. Easily the longest stage in the game. The only really way you can cut time is to cut as much corners as possible. We determine this by the background music. It is possible for the second overlap of the music to replay, if you do not make it before the piano kind of starts, we call it pianoless, then you've got like an extremely fast croc. So that's what we kind of aim for, is we measure like how many piano keys are at the end of the stage.
Just to note, very few people have actually gotten pianoless. It's a very, very difficult optimization to get every corner perfectly in this level.
Yeah, there is a lot of corners, and some have very difficult visual cues, if you go by visual cues. All right, Supreme, coming to the end of it now. So 1.5 piano measures, that's pretty good. All right, Torchlight. We do not pick up Squawks because Squawks lags very much, so we do this all in the dark.
Fun stage, but definitely can be tough, especially depending on what strats you go for. And you'll see a lot of the time we're trying to go for these landing on the edge of the oil cans, and right there you see the risk where Supreme actually did take damage. So probably was about 3-4 seconds there, having to go to Donkey, get the DK barrel, and swap back.
Up to throw the barrel as well. You can actually roll from the barrel right before you hit the crush and clear the mincer. Excuse me, here, clear the mincer. Saves a little time.
Okay, now we get to Roper Drumble, aka RBR. He is not going for the super jump roll, so this is a fun platforming stage, but also very perilous. Definitely easy to die here, and in quite a number of the all stages races, there have been deaths here. So hopefully, for his sake, that he'll get out of here clean.
Yeah, especially the little skip coming up, skipping these two slow tires here. Oh, okay, Supreme does not go for it.
Yeah, so normally, if you're going to go for the fast strat of this section, you do a little bit camera manip, turn Diddy back to the left to spawn the tires just the way you want them to. But it is a risky strat because if you mess it up even in the slightest, you can't make the gap and die. He opts to go safe, just takes the tire all the way across, which can't blame him. He is in the lead right now, so.
Seen Dad practicing it earlier, so let's see if he actually goes for it. Nice first half from both players, though.
Yeah, Dad's movement looking pretty crisp right there from what I saw. Even getting the nice extendo. Oh, he did set it up
for it,
and he nailed it. Very nice, very nice. That will save him a little bit of time over what Supreme did.
Definitely closing in the gap. All right, ODA. This, you see if he goes for the super jump roll.
So if he does, he'll take damage right here. He does take damage. Again, Diddy flies off the screen, so now you know Diddy has the super jump state stored. Donkey takes damage, so he's back to Diddy, and he jumps instead of pressing Y to roll. That was an accidental controller input. Definitely was wanting to see a roll there, not a jump. Very unfortunate. He's going to lose, what is that, like 7 seconds due to setup time to try to go for that trick. So now it's definitely in Dad's court. See what he does in ODA.
1926 drop. So it looks like we're about 21 seconds now apart.
And remember, your Supreme did give away 7-ish seconds on the setup, so if Dad doesn't even go for it, he'll make up some time. And he's not going for it, so yeah, probably only, down to a 15-second difference would be my guess. Now, the ending here, though, is pretty challenging.
Supreme getting it with no problem.
Did nail it. Very, very nice. That is like the super scariest part of this level if you don't get the super jump roll across the level. Kind of like how in Torchlight we were trying to get on the edge of the oil cans. Doing the same thing here at the end, except this time, instead of just taking damage, usually you fall off the pit and die.
So Stu was mentioning earlier about entering a bonus to skip a portion if it's faster. This is the second instance where we're going to do that.
Now, technically for this level, if I remember from what Germro said, the not taking the bonus is actually pretty much just about the same speed if done optimally. The problem is the bonus is super easy and the other non-bonus area is super difficult, so it's almost always the correct decision to just take the bonus there in Antics.
Interesting. I didn't know that. It's good to know.
Yo, shout out to Germro.
Second half is a lot more difficult than the first half with timing of the elevators. So coming up, Supreme is going to go try for an elevator skip. So with the camera manip looking left, we're going to spawn the elevator a lot earlier. Jump over this B, and then roll through the... Oh, just misses it. You can roll through that elevator and skip right to the final elevator. Saves a little bit of time. So that's time that Dad can use to close in the gap between him and Supreme. Poison Pond actually is more lenient than Clam City earlier, as this has 2 fish. So if you accidentally lose the fish in the first half, you can recover it back. Still arguably a difficult stage in World 5. A lot of mincers, a lot of obstacles. Squids get in your path.
Dad's setting up the elevator skip, and he does nail it. That's beautiful execution from Dad to make sure that the elevators were spawned exactly the way he wanted them. Skipping that cycle.
Yo, great job. Doesn't go for triple mincer clip.
Does go straight through the middle, though, for the single mincer clip. I don't think I usually see people do it that way. It's very interesting. Very spooky looking, actually.
So, with On Guard's lunge, during the lunge frames, you get invulnerability, and you can actually lunge through the mincers. I'm going to be assuming that the lunge is farther than how close, how big the mincer's hitbox is.
Oof, Dad taking damage, but I think he can recover this fish pretty quickly. It's a few seconds lost, not terrible. Meanwhile, Supreme does go for the rolling through air glitch, but does not go for the jump roll portion of MCM. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it, because I don't know much of the science. I know how to do it, but I don't know.
I'm not quite sure either. I can explain what jump rolls. I don't think you've explained what jump rolls yet are.
Yeah, go for it.
For jump rolls, if you land on an enemy and roll on the same frame, you'll be in the roll status, but you'll be going like infinitely horizontally. You lose height by pixels, but it's very hard to notice. And this is frame perfect. So when we occur to super jump rolls, we're just doing jump rolls, but with super jump stored, which allows us to super jump, but at roll speed.
Now, interesting, Dad did not go for didn't at all attempt the rolling through air glitch, which is unfortunate for him. I feel like that's a pretty free trick, and it saves, I believe, about 4 seconds. That Supreme's just going to add to his lead with that.
I don't blame him. I do not like it at all.
Oh, really? I mean, I guess there are weird times where it seems to randomly fail, but
yeah, for whatever reason, it just drops input, and then you go underneath the stage, and it's hard to recover. Blackout Basement, a very scary stage. You really gotta have this stage memorized, especially if any one of your movements falls. Then the blackouts are different than what you're used to. Nice extendo. Opts not to get the halfway too, so definitely faster, but a lot scarier to the stage. Looks like Supreme's having no issues whatsoever.
Yeah, pretty nice blackout right there. Does avoid, well, the idea would be to avoid the final claptrap. He didn't quite have the right roll speed coming off of the final hilltop or whatever, so he had to just jump on top of it. Okay, so we're about to
Dad
come
grabbing
up to
the halfway barrel. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We're about to come up to frame land, if you will. World 6 is infamous for just having some of the biggest time saves due to frame perfect tricks. There are, what is it, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 levels in World 6, and there are 4 frames technically, 4 chances for frames in three different levels. So, you know, this is where you make it or break it on your PB attempts. Is World 6.
Dad's going to make up some time over Supreme because he does get the extendo at the end of Blackout and skips that claptrap. So, very well done by Dad. So, as Stu was mentioning, this stage is the most time you can save. So there's 2 instances of jump rolls. One where you can get from a Kremlin and one where you get from a bird. So we call it Krem Tut and Bird Tut. Krem Tut is significantly more scary and difficult to get, but it saves 50 seconds, I believe, and I believe Bird Tut saves 42.
I thought it was like 53. I thought it was like an 11-second difference between the 2 tricks. That was like 42 and 53, something along those lines. But either way, this is like, if one person gets it and the other person doesn't, that's a huge change. And Supreme decides not to even go for it, the Krem Tut at least, which is a wise decision. In the lead, that's a really tough trick. I can't blame him. He does not get Bird Tut, though. He did go for it. You'll notice that the setup was there. He went to the right to try to get the jump roll off the bird. Pressed Y too early. You can tell because he got a roll off instead of bouncing off the bird. So this is definitely Dad's chance to shine right here. Did you check what the time deltas were on the Dumb Drum?
No, unfortunately, I was speaking about jump rolls. I should have, though. We'll have to do it by the Blackout of Tut, I will.
Yeah. But yeah, Supreme had quite a big lead, and so you'll see how much that will shrink if Dad gets this Bird Tut frame. He's going for the setup right now.
He goes for it.
Ooh,
also early.
Yep. Okay, so he won't be able to make up time here. There's really nothing you can do. I guess technically the only thing is, I think someone said that the game slightly lags if the tracker is blinking red. I don't know if I can confirm that to be true or false, but if that's a thing, then that would be like the only thing you can really do here. Otherwise, you're just taking this for a ride.
Yeah. Ooh, taking a little safe. All right, so Blackout was 27.56 from Supreme. We'll compare that to Dad when he's done Tut.
And since Dad is relatively new to going for frames, I just have a feeling he probably won't go for Misty, which will be unfortunate for him because that one saves about 30 seconds over someone who attempts it and fails to get it. So that would have been like the next big thing. But we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me. Maybe he'll go for it.
Misty's the final SJR of the run. So we bring Ramby here to damage boost off of this Mincer to skip that little section. Ramby, though, has built-in input lag for whatever reason. So he's very difficult to control if you're not used to it. Wonderful Mincers coming out of Supreme.
Yeah, there's only like, I saw one awkward jump from him on Ramby, and that was about it. So definitely not bad at all.
I believe that was a 28.48 coming out of Dad for end of Tut. So we're looking at close to a minute.
Okay, so
48 seconds, I believe.
Supreme did go for the setup and did fail it. So again, that's a few extra seconds that Dad will get back if he decides to not go for it at all. But it's getting to the point where something's going to have to happen on Supreme's part for Dad to have a chance.
Dad is super jumping over Mincers.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even notice that till now. That's a big time loss compared to Supreme's Mincers.
Yeah, I don't know the actual delta. I haven't seen too many people super jumping over the stage. I knew it was a thing.
Right, see if he goes for Misty anyways, though. He does not go for Misty.
Yeah. But again, I mean, Supreme did go for it and miss it, so that does get some time back in Dad's court. But again, at this point, especially with Dad passing by all these frames, is really going to be up to Supreme to have something bad happen if Dad were to win this race.
This is the final dark level, Loopy Lights. The barrels are just really out of the way, and we want to roll as often as possible, since rolling is the fastest form of movement. So there will be some barrels that if you don't land on it on one of the roll jumps back, chances are we're not going to land on another one. Nice movement, though, from Loopy.
Oof, okay. Took that trap a little bit interestingly, but does manage to avoid it. Ooh!
Ooh, misses the tire.
Okay, that is definitely a thing that can happen if you're not careful. We didn't mention this earlier, but there are quite a few times in this game where we do what's called a tire roll, and you want to press Y to roll when you're on the rightmost half of the tire. In that specific instance, it looked like Supreme was a little bit too far left. So instead of getting a tire roll off the tire, he got a little mini bounce. And if that happens, there's no way to save it. You're just dead. He does go through it the second time cleanly, but that's one of the openings that Dad needed.
Definitely only about a half a stage apart now. So yeah, definitely needed from Dad's side.
And now we come to one, like if Supreme doesn't get the jump roll in this level, this is one of the hardest levels, depending on the strats that you go for.
Dad gets both tire rolls, almost gets the double B skip as well. Accidentally loses Diddy, so that's going to cost him some time, but at the same time, he did not die and got the tire rolls, so closing in the gap.
Okay, so Supreme setting it up, and he does not get, he is early on the jump roll. Well, he does have a second Kong. He could theoretically go for backup. He does not go for the backup jump roll. Okay, so he's just going to finish this level out, and again, this one is tough. We'll see how he opts to go for it. He's going the aggressive strat. I like to see that. See how he tackles this. He's going to extendo off this. Naughty, no. He goes for just a roll jump off that one Naughty.
There are many, many different strats you can do in this stage.
Yeah, I expect Supreme, I don't know if he's watching or not. If he's watching, he'll probably take this ending pretty easy. Because as long as he doesn't die, he is set up in good shape to win.
It looked like Dad went for the setup as well and had a good Dillo placement, but also was early in the frame.
Okay, so yeah, Supreme is taking the ending easy. That ending is the like super hard part of the level. So Supreme is out cleanly.
Dad, not that far behind, actually.
Yeah, really isn't that far behind. We kind of mentioned earlier that the Neki 1 boss had one of the few RNGs in the game with the head placements. Neki 2 is the same deal. Also RNG. You also want him to be low if possible.
That was a 33-33 drop from Supreme.
Okay, so you add about 225 to that. A little bit less, but yeah. That'll be
very close to 36, if not exactly 36. K-roll, we call crownless when you don't see the crown able to land a hit. So you want to be as much crownless hits as possible to save as much time as you can. So we got a 34.09 banana drop from Dad. So that is a 36,
30-ish?
36.
Yeah, he's got mid 36 for Dad, assuming nothing catastrophic happens.
Half a minute apart. That's pretty good. Close race.
Definitely had chances.
Unfortunately, though, the only way Dad can take this is if Supreme takes a death.
And I definitely don't expect that. This is actually one of the easier fights in the game, I'd say. Very, very scripted fight. The only optimization that we mentioned earlier was the crownless hits. How early can you hit K. Rool when his crown comes off? But seasoned pro like Supreme, who's been running the game for a decent amount of time, I don't expect to see any issues out of him on this fight.
Absolutely. At the fake credits now. Yeah, no donkey in front, so no slap slides.
I have to mark off points for both of these players for not using the donkey route.
Should be instant win just to slap that underneath the cannonball. All right, coming up with time for Supreme. All right, and the winner between DadLovesBeer and Supreme is Supreme with a 35.58, it looks like. GG to Supreme.
He stopped his timer quite a few seconds late, interestingly enough. But yeah, that was definitely a 35 on his end. Not a bad race run at all. GG to Supreme on that one.
GG Supreme. Great race, dude. Very good race.
Yeah. Man, like, my Y button was stuck in 1-1. And like that was an utter disaster, and I was like shaky the whole rest of the way because I was like, "This button's gonna get
Oh, maybe that's what happened with ODA because we noticed that you out instead with a missed input.
It's just that's just the way I grip the controller. Sometimes I accidentally let go of B.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
GG to Dad with a 36.34. Very good race.
Yeah, good race PB by a good chunk too. I think I don't know if this is a second or third race. But that was good stuff. Yeah, no, that setup was like so good on ODA. I was like, I cannot believe I jumped. I was so mad.
Take us through what was going on in your head in Loopy. We noticed that I'm assuming you were too far left on that tire and you just got to bounce. Like, what happened?
Normally, I don't get that roll into the croc. Normally, I played a little safe and roll when the platform, like that moving platform's higher up. Mm-hmm. So I hit the croc and I'm like, okay, I need to go to the second tire to be safe. And then I just totally misread my input, like when to do my input, and I just walked off. Yeah. So like that was whatever. I pretty much always expect at least one death when I do these.
You handled it like a champ. The second time through was very very clean. So you did it well, recovering.
See if Dad wants to go for an interview. I'm gonna ask him real quick.
Were you, out of curiosity, Supreme, were you watching the race as it was going on?
No, dude, I have enough anxiety on my own.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I saw it looked like you might have taken the ending of Perils pretty safe. I just wondered if that was like a race strat that you were doing, or what was going on? Because it was definitely the smart decision. You were definitely far enough ahead where even if Dad had hit the frame, you would have won. So I thought it was a very wise decision to take the ending easy on Perils.
That probably isn't too different from what I do normally because that's just a level I haven't practiced nearly as much as others. But yeah, I had been shaky the whole race, not making a lot of mistakes, but just little bits of slop here and there. So I was like, I need to just keep it slow. I'm on like high 35 pace, and DadBod's got a 35, 36. So I was like, I think unless he's about to PB or get really close, I'm probably fine. So I played it a little bit safer.
Good call. Hey, and GG to Dad. He's now joined us.
Yeah, GG, Dad. How's it going?
Not a bad run.
Yeah, that's like barely a minute off your PB. That's really, really great in a race setting. This game is hard, man, in a race.
Yeah, there's a lot of choke points. So.
I was out of the voice chat for a minute. I might have missed a couple things. What did I miss? What did you guys just say like a few seconds ago?
Oh, we're just first congratulating you on a pretty well played race. We hadn't started the interview quite yet, but I'll start off with the first question. how did you feel? What was going through your mind in Treetop Town? I remember that you had, I guess you just rolled early or something, and you hit the edge of the final platform and fell to your death. It's not something. Oh, and okay, there he is. Not something that normally happens. So, like, how did it happen, and how did you cope with it? Maybe we lost Ed. Oh, and
He can't hear.
He cannot hear. Okay, well.
There we go.
Okay, welcome back. Did you? So you didn't hear the question at all?
We're having I'll type the question to him.
Okay.
Ask him about Treetop Town.
Little issues.
Yeah, Treetop Town. Like, how did it happen? And what was his coping mechanism? Because that could be a little bit of a tilter. I know Supreme had talked about earlier being like a little bit shaky in World 1, and I know as a runner / racer myself, it's always nice to get off to a strong start. So when you do have something early game, which in this game would be Worlds 1, 2, or 3, it can kind of shake your mental state and ruin the rest of the run. But Dad persevered pretty well, I thought.
Looks like he's typing the message right now. Alright, so Dad replied with, yeah, so I missed the warp on the tire. I was trying to jump into it, but I missed it and decided to take a death and try it again instead of fiddling with it. That's fair enough. I think that's the faster approach. So yeah, GG to both you and Dad. Great race. Close all the way throughout. You were only about like a half a minute apart pretty much the entire duration.
Yeah,
That's
I think
pretty crazy.
Yeah,
there was a few times that if you lost time, Dad will gain it, or Dad will lose time and you would gain it back. So it's kind of back and forth in a couple instances, but yeah, basically a half a minute.
Yeah,
So,
I was telling him the whole time out of our group, I thought that we, like, the two of us were going to have a really good race. We were pretty comparable in skill level.
well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad I was right about that. I'm glad it was a close race. Like, that's all you can ask for a lot of times, is a good, entertaining, close race.
Absolutely, sir.
I kind of mentioned earlier, I do think you guys have quite a hard group between Canis, Pathlo, yourself, and Dad. All quite good runners. I expect all four of you guys to make it out, so I don't think this is the last that we'll see of Dad in this tournament. But yeah, should make some really good races in this group stage.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, let's look at the old schedule. We do have another race, actually, again with Supreme. We got Supreme versus Gil right here on Speed Gaming 1. So stay tuned for that in about 15 minutes. Get that one underway.
I'm unfortunately going to have to roll out for that. So,
Well, it was
Awesome.
good having you on the mic. Thanks for commentating.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Stu, for commentating with me.
Yeah, thank you as well.
I'm going to roll out.
Yeah, I will also be rolling out. Hopefully we can find someone to commentate the next match. And good luck again, Supreme. And thanks to Speed Gaming and everyone else who has helped put this All Stages tournament together. You guys have done a fantastic job. Glad to see all the support coming out here. A lot of nice, friendly chatters here, enjoying the All Stages tournament.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.